Hello there. Welcome to the first talk of Music Never Stop Europe. I am Hevo, and tonight I'm going to introduce you to some big guts for us in Europe. I'm talking about some people that can add their point of view about the current situation in music industry. I'm talking about Europe and Canada. Today will be two guests, but I won't be the frontman of the show, but the frontman will be our kind of dear Fabrizio F. Come
Good
in,
night.
Fabrizio.
Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here for the very first time for the Music Never Stops. And tonight I will be introducing you to guests and the main topics of the night. You probably seen me because we released two live talks, like summarization of two live talks last week and the week prior. But tonight we are all yours, all in English for everybody in Europe that is concerned about the situation of the music, the discography, and the industry, basically. We are gonna interview people that work inside music, that work for music, and we will ask them their suggestion, their idea, and their points of view about what's happening and what to expect in the next months.
Okay. Introduce us to our guests.
Okay. Now, guys, before I introduce you to the main guest that we have tonight, there's a little recommendation I have to make for you all. This kind of format is already going very well in Italy. You guys know that Italy was the first nation that has been hit by the virus in Europe. So we have already like 20 days of experience with this, and we kind of know where we are going. We kind of know what to expect, and we are working to share information among all the musicians, all the music lovers, all the concert goers in the European territory. This is meant to be useful information for you all, for touring musicians, for local musicians, for great band, for small bands. Everybody can benefit from what we're doing here tonight and for the forthcoming events in the next days and weeks. So what I recommend you is to share this live broadcast on your walls on Facebook, on your pages, to send a message to all the people that you think could be interested by this kind of live talk, because we are working to make this work for you and for everybody that likes us, love music, and give music a great space and importance in their lives. So basically, Evo, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say, how do you feel to be introducing your first talk show in mother tongue in English?
Who said it's the first?
It's not the first.
No, it's the first. It's the first.
I'm losing something.
I'm okay.
Screwed?
No. I'm okay. I'm okay. I just know that I'm with friends because the two awesome guys we have tonight are with us. I could say from the very first day of our experience in music as El Rojo. You know them, I know them, we love them. So I think it's time to make the guys join the video chat because the people are here for them, not for us.
I'm letting the scene. I'm going behind the curtain. So that's all. See you later.
Okay, guys. So the tonight live talk is kind of strange because we are having guests from basically all over the world. It's cool to say that. And the awesome guy you're already seeing in the split screen is Mr. Brien Montgomery from Canada. And he's a great friend of us. Is the PR, the face of Broken Neck Radio, which is an awesome radio station in Canada. And he's the patron, as we say in Italy, of a beautiful music festival, which is called
Sludge on the Swamp.
That's so nice. Welcome, Brien. Welcome. It's
Welcome.
great.
Thank you.
Great pleasure to have you here.
Awesome.
And
thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. And the other awesome guy I'm gonna introduce is I like to say that the last time I saw him in person was one of the best day of my life. He is Eugene Tymchyk, which is the CEO of Louder.me, a beautiful startup, European startup for underground music, and frontman of The Nietzsche and Septa, two awesome Ukrainian bands. He keeps in and out with. Stay with us, Eugene. Give me
Hey,
Eugene.
man.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I see you. Now I see you. Now I see you.
You
Tech
keep,
problems.
keep getting me to backstage.
No,
This
it's fine. It's great.
party is backstage.
Welcome.
So, yeah. Hi, guys.
Welcome. It's a great pleasure to have you here, guy.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Uh-huh. Fine, guys. You both hear me well, right? We can go on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
Perfect.
fine.
Guys, this is the first live talk we're making in Europe after the experience we are having in Italy. And I want to start. Every time I will give you I will give you the chance to say something. We start from Brien, okay? So we get everything tidy and put in order. The main reason we are having this live talk is to discuss the impact that the coronavirus is having and will have in the next months and years probably on the music industry. So starting from Breen, what I wanted to know, what I want to ask you is what was going on in Canada when all of this happened and how you guys are living this over there.
Well, I'm based in Western Canada on the West Coast, obviously. And as soon as this hit, all our music industry was shut down. Any promoters, servers that works in any of the bars, venues, they were all laid off. Every show's canceled. Big tours all got canceled. So it's pretty brutal here in terms of the entertainment industry. Everyone's kind of holding out. There is government aid that is being given to people if they qualify. They've put a hold on any rent increases for people in the industry. You can't get evicted from your house, but it's going to have a huge impact into the future too.
Wow. Well, it's pretty much what I was expecting. And Eugene, how's it going in Ukraine?
It's devastating, like any European country right now, because we're 3 weeks into quarantine. We have like 1,000 cases registered with coronavirus, but our government reacted pretty quick to this epidemic, and we was shut down on March 18. And at first it was like a light quarantine with some venues still working, prohibition of gathering more than 200 people. So our local scene, our local bands were like, okay, business as usual. It's 200 people. It's fine by us. But in a week, it became total lockdown. Everything closed. Restaurants, clubs, venues, cafes. And now we are all in safety in our homes, so we can fight to our places. And the quarantine will last at least till April 25th, I guess. But the prognosis is that it will be not until summer. So we kind of bracing ourselves with the problems that are up the hill after everything will be reopened. I think all the summer festivals are off the table, and they will be all moved to, maybe some will regroup and try to have them in the fall. But I think that the ones that are rescheduling it for the 2021, for the next year, are the wiser ones. and we think we need to think about the future, not about the now, because now it's all frozen. It's like lifeless. But projects like this, live streams, live conferences, talks are pretty helpful to not to feel yourself isolated and alone. So you guys are doing the right thing.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Just to make the picture complete, here in Italy, we are being completely locked down from March the 9th. And according to the government, we should be locked until April the 14th. But we have had a lot of talks with industry workers for music, and they say that probably, as Eugene said, everybody will be moved. Every kind of gigs, events, and festivals, everything will be moved in the late fall or probably next year. So, from what you guys tell me, everything is being completely locked down and problems are coming even for music and for normal people, like people who want to keep their houses and stay safe. Brien, have you talked to bands and friends in music that you know? Can you tell us what is your idea about the direction that the industry is going to have? What your musician friends said about this?
Yeah, I've talked to everybody that I know in bands, and everyone's just kind of hanging tight. And here in Canada, we're kind of taking it one day at a time, and nobody really knows what the future's going to be. It's kind of uncertain at this point. They're also talking about maybe another possible outbreak in the fall. So a lot of people, like what Eugene was saying about doing live streaming, live gigs from their houses. Is that going to be the way of the future? It's nobody goes out to festivals anymore. You just watch it live in your house. It's kind of uncertain at this point. I mean, even the thing that I do for Sludge on the Swamp, that's August 1st. So far, I haven't publicly announced that I'm going to cancel it. I'm kind of hanging in there to see what's going to go on. We don't know at this point. It's a strange new world that we're living in here. And nobody knows really what the future's going to hold.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
far as I
I
can
understand.
tell,
What is your idea, Eugene?
as far as I can
What?
tell, here in Ukraine, we go on the trajectory that was in Italy and was in Spain. So we're like lagging 1 month behind, but in a month we'll be in the place that Italy is now. So as for now, it's only 1,000 cases confirmed. So I think the future is kind of grim for the next months for us. And as for the fall outbreak, I've heard about this too. That if this quarantine works and we have like flattened the dynamic, the line, and we have more controllable number of cases, there's still a possibility of another outbreak later. So I guess we just need to adapt to this brave new world. But live streaming and live gigs, it's a fun idea. It's maybe not new, but it's a replacement for the outdoor activities for now. I can't tell how long it's gonna live because this it's not the same. It's not the same at all. It's kind of like like getting yourself rid of the sugar. It's okay to live without sugar, but when it's sweet, then it's sweet. So maybe we'll get used to it, and 2 months we will go all to live gigs, to concerts in the evening. It's gonna be okay to meet friends in chat rooms, to have to get back together some video calls and listen to music together. But I don't know. I think it's not the same. So we just need to hold on for now.
Yeah. I get your point. I absolutely get your point, and you just anticipated my next question, which is a question. It's like a provocatory, to ask a musician or somebody that gets everything pulled together in a festival to ask them if they would replace the live music with just stream music. In my opinion, it could be a nice way to promote, to anticipate live music. But if you ask me, as a musician, I would never replace live music with just streaming. But as you say, this is a probably something that will leave us a kind of new world, at least for a span of time. So I'm asking you guys, Brian, in your case, would you be up to organize an edition of Sludge of the Swamp just with cameras and no people?
Well, it's like you said, it's not. It's the music, but it's not. It's not the full experience of seeing the bands. Say hearing the music coming through you and giving you that satisfaction of seeing the live music. It's kind of an impersonal thing, and yes, potentially I could do that and just live stream it from my house, but it's not the same experience for the person that says, pays the money to come. They get to interact with the bands. Of course, what I do at my house, it's on my property that I own. So this year, we're doing a pig roast after as part of the experience. It's an exclusive thing. We're doing about 400 people here, and all the bands actually stay here. So when they're done playing, everyone gets to just hang out as a group, talk, and interact to everybody.
It's a big party.
Yeah, it's a big party basically on my private property. After all the bands are done, we leave everything, the PA, everything stays on the stage, and any bands that want to get up there and hang out and just jam and just play, not even as a band, just as musicians and friends coming together. So, I mean,
Yeah.
last year, of course, I had Year of the Cobra come here. I know,
Yeah.
probably you, right? And then I also had Murray Acton. I don't know if Eugene's probably into punk rock too.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had Murray from the Dayglow Abortions. He was at my house because he lives here on the island. And John and Amy from Year of the Cobra got him to come up on stage and play they covered one of his songs.
Wow.
But got him to play guitar. They did Arc Fuck Kill, which is a Canadian classic. And nobody's ever played with Year of the Cobra with the guitar ever until my house. So for me, I kind of made music history by getting this amazing artist like Murray that's been doing music for 40 years now as Dayglow Abortion since I was born. And Amy is one of his biggest fans. And for me to be able to bring them together as one and just hang out, she's been listening to the Dayglow since she was a little girl in high school, and I kind of made a dream come true for her because she's never seen them play live. She owns all their albums, and when I first met them, I said, well, come to the island, and, I'm friends with Murray, and now they're really good friends, and for them to be able to play music with Murray live, I mean, that was just surreal in a way, right? So the live streaming would work. It's gonna help, but the experience it's just not there. It's kind of impersonal in a way.
I see that.
Yeah,
Eugene,
that's
your
true
point of
because
view.
Right.
yeah, because music is it's a connection in a sense, in a first sense. We connect with each other as musicians. We connect with our fans. We connect with everyone involved. So to have a live stream, there's no other option. Okay, it works, but I think we will need to brace ourselves for the couple of months that are coming, and to regroup and plan for the future, and maybe we'll have some other projects, like maybe some isolated festivals with quick testing. There are new coronavirus tests that give results in 2 minutes. So to have something like a far festival on an isolated island with all participants and all the people tested. It's gonna be an okay thing to have it like that. But for now, as we don't have a cure, we don't have enough tests, enough masks, enough sanitizers, so it's gonna be kind of tricky to have summer festivals to work like this. And as for the musicians, I think this is the best time for us to create. It's like to go inside our caves ourselves, to stay together as a band, maybe on a distance, but try to create something, because I think after this ends, there's going to be a huge boom in new music. Big artists are holding on to their records that were planned to release in spring. Small artists will sublime all this negativity and some frustration from the situation and turn it into great pieces of art. So I think end of the year will be very concentrated in music releases.
That's a it's a probability. I was while you were talking, I was thinking about yes, like channeling all the negativity in creativity is something that many artists do. I see myself in that. So I think you're right. I think you're very quite right.
Absolutely.
Time will tell us, and if so, I think that this fall and this spring will be very fun, very funny. Anyway, Brien, I have a custom question for you.
Yep.
Since the arrival of the virus in the American continent was kind of delayed, if compared to Europe and Asia, I want to ask you how you guys from Canada lived the advance of this problem. Like, were you scared? Were you following this? Were you hoping this was just something far from you? How was that?
Well, excuse me. Of course, me being on the West Coast, which is in Vancouver, and I mean, we have one of the biggest ports here, which is the Port of Vancouver, where all our goods and stuff come from China, where it originated. I mean, at first, everyone just kind of was thinking it was a joke and it's the flu, and then it kind of came here, and then it really began to sink home that this is real, this is happening. It's a pandemic. It's not bullshit. It's kind of scary. I mean, for me, I live out in the country, so I don't live in cities, and I stay away from that. So sort of isolated already. But BC here, we have the most reported cases in all of Canada. Ontario's, which is on the East Coast, is catching up. But yeah, it's scary stuff.
I understand. Can I ask you how many cases you guys have officially recorded so far?
It's been going up every day. I think we're over 1,000. I know yesterday, listening to the news, there was 56 new reported cases in BC alone.
Okay. Eugene, in your case, what I wanted to know, and what I want you to tell to all the audience tonight, since you are a musician, I want to ask you how the virus impacted on you in terms of creativity and projects. I mean, what was happening in the world of your bands? What were your projects, and how are you dealing with this?
Yeah, the timing was not right for this to happen, and we all joke around at the beginning of the year that okay, we're gonna have a pandemic. It's a season flu. It's not serious. It's gonna be okay. Ukraine is not gonna be affected by it. But as it went on, so it started to look pretty serious. And we just finished our small tour with Septa, I guess, by the end of February. So we planned a spring tour with The Nietzsche that is cancelled, and we planned a lot of festival appearances in Ukraine that are, I think, kind of on the fence right now, but I think they're gonna be postponed and likely cancelled. And we have a lot of activities like music videos. One we shot, one we planned shooting. We had a record studio booked for March 4th, April 4th, that is postponed and cancelled. So everything is on hold, everything is on a pause, and we're kind of trying to work it around the things that we have. I had some leftovers from our live recordings, so I published them yesterday with the Nietzsche. We had a music video with remastered audio that was like on our backlog for a year. I posted it yesterday too for Septa. So everything is kind of slowly burning out, and I think that on one hand, it's not the best time for any reasons, morally and pragmatically, because people are not to tend to have fun and enjoy things while all this is happening around. And on the other thing, we will not get the same impact if we release it on a better days. But on the other hand, you can stay silent for so long. You can keep like radio silence for 3 months, because it's not healthy for your fan base to not get any content or any things from you. We planned on our live streaming concerts, but we are kind of in different cities right now in Ukraine, so it's gonna be tricky. But I think we'll find a way eventually how to do it properly. And for the recordings, I think we'll manage to do them separately in our home studios, or maybe some local studios that are still working. But everything is kind of frozen for now, so it's hard.
I understand that. It's quite normal. And remember that if you guys get to play together and put up a live show, I won't be the one streaming you on Music Never Stops. Just remember
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And we kind of make a sound bridge with Canada, so Brien can broadcast you guys as well.
Perfect.
Perfect. So let's go to the pragmatic side of all of this. If musicians don't play, if musicians don't sell, they cannot eat, basically. So what I want to ask to you guys is the policy of the countries you live in. I want to know if they had the good guts to put up an aid for people that work in in the entertainment, in music, and in show. Brien, what Canada says about this?
Yes, I mean, anyone that basically got laid off from their jobs, because a lot of musicians, they have day jobs. You can apply for unemployment insurance, which normally it's a 2-week waiting period. They boosted it up to 48 hours. They're also giving my mic here. There we go. They're also giving a $500 rent incentive that they send to your landlord. They've frozen evictions. Small business owners that have had to basically freeze for the time being, they're compensating them as well. So the Canadian government is doing a pretty good job about releasing aid money and helping people out. The only thing is, what are the coming months?
Yeah,
they're giving the EI thing. Right now, currently, you get $2,000 Canadian a month, which is more than the EI amount, but still in BC particularly, which is one of the most expensive places to live in Canada, it's kind of sink or swim. Like, do you buy food or do you pay your rent?
yeah, I see the problem.
Right.
I don't know how to report to 2,000 Canadian dollars, but I'm telling you that people like me, I'm a worker that basically I'm not employed. I have my own activity.
Right.
I get like the how can I say that, in American dollars, it's like 700 a month, which is basically nothing. If you have to pay rent and if you have to pay expenses, you just have to go and get food outside, probably in the trash cans. But I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm telling you, I know that over there the government is pretty attentive to this kind of policy, and I wanna ask the same question to Eugene. What is the Ukrainian government doing for the musicians and entertainment workers?
Basically nothing, because Ukraine is a very, very poor country. We have a lot of economical problems that are just keep piling up, and it seems that it will never end, because we have ongoing war with Russia on one side, and we have pretty incompetent governments on the other side. So it's kind of hard for make any money now. There's no social compensation, no some social financial support from the government. We have budget for any cultural activities cut 10 times, I think, like 10% from what we had last year. So we kind of make it on our own. We at Loudremy are blessed with the possibility to work remotely from our homes, but many people just lost their job because business can handle on. All the big companies, they're shutting down, or unpaid leave for their staff. So it's kind of hard for everyone who is involved in music business or music related business, any service related business, to keep their job for now. So many musicians tend to go to different websites like Patreon, like Bandcamp, to sell their merchandise, to offer some exclusive stuff, to have paid live streams, Q&A sessions, and so on. So it's kind of just to survive. So because with no shows, you can sell merchandise. People are not only musicians are having financial problems, but everyone is having. So no one will buy your T-shirt in future months, because they need to pay rent, they need to buy food. So it's kind of devastating for everyone right now. So I think Ukraine is will have it very bad in a month or two, because now it's just financial problems, but our health system is really bad. So in 2 months we will have a health catastrophe here, and I can tell for sure what for me is scarier, to have no health or to have no money in this country. But I think both are scary. So I will talk in a month. I'll tell you the situation if I'm still alive.
Okay, we will do everything is possible to keep in touch and see how the situation is going. And I just take advantage of this position to tell to every music fans over there that have the possibility to buy merchandise and buy CDs right now. If you can, this is the right moment to buy stuff from your favorite bands. This is the right moment.
The other point is I'd like to point out is when everything so-called, returns to normal, people going out to shows and spending that money that they would spend going to shows without having any money for, say, are they still going to do that? So
this you just anticipated my next question.
Okay.
Because because we are analyzing this problem from every possible angle, because we in first instance are worried about what's going to happen. So we asked to many people here in Italy that works in music, what do they expect when everything will be over? Like, Is it gonna be a live success, live boom of traffic and public and audience and people going to the gigs, or fear will prevail? What is your opinion, Brien?
Well, I mean, me putting on what I do and stuff, I've run multiple scenarios with friends and musicians about, what the future holds. And of course, entertainment is what keeps the planet happy. So, I'm very optimistic that yes, when everything does return to normal, there's going to be a lot of people that, have missed these live shows that they really wanted to go to. And hopefully in the future, they want to go out and they want to be entertained and everything will be okay. But the worst case scenario is that nobody has any money. And again, it's pay rent or buy food. And of course, people are going to feed themselves before they spend, extra money that they're making at work on a band's merch. I mean, of course, I try to promote merch sales, digital sales as much as I can for, all the bands that I do on my radio show and all my friends that play music. But the impact, I mean, it's just one of those kind of uncertain futures at this point.
Yes, I completely see your point. Eugene, what do you think about this?
The pessimistic side of me tells me that it's not gonna be normal like never, and more optimistic side is telling me that we're stepping into a, what do you call, even greater recessions than the ones that we had 100 years ago, and this is gonna last for at least 10 years. Maybe it's not gonna be so devastating for the economy worldwide, but I think that people will try to hold their money more vigorously as they did it before, because as far as I researched, this COVID pandemic, they can reappear every year now, because this is a very highly mutative virus, and if we need to get accustomed to be on quarantine at least 2 months a year now, it's going to be a different kind of world for everyone. But I think, as humanity always does, we'll adapt. So we'll come up with some different things of how to support ourselves, how to get income for us. So I think the music will adapt too. Maybe we'll have a rise of winter festivals now, rise of winter tours, winter some gigs, conferences, and gatherings. It's just going to be a different side of the same coin. But this summer, I think it's not for money spending. It's not for activities. We'll have to relieve this and to brace ourselves for maybe some worse things.
Okay. I think that any kind of normal, let's say like that, can be achieved only if we can manage to find a cure or a vaccine. This is my personal opinion. But if if everybody could be scared of dying going to a concert because they can get the Spanish flu, I'm saying a sickness for another, they wouldn't go anywhere. But if you know that something is you can heal from that, you are not stopping your life if you know that you can heal from a sickness. Am I right in your opinion?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have flu. We have different viruses that are pretty. They're curable. You can tend to yourself if you're sick, and we just live with them. And we have different pandemics in the past, so it's gonna be okay. Maybe this whole thing with COVID is blown out of proportions. I can't tell you for sure how serious it is. So I haven't encountered any cases in my common life. So I maybe it's just a very, very serious flu. But if we react to something that is not that serious, I think the reaction for some even more severe illness will be destructive for economies worldwide. So I think we are kind of living some light scenario of something that can be encountered in future. So we need to manage and to create some ways to stay healthy mentally, to stay connected, and not to close ourselves from the outside world.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Eugene. I mean, there's vaccines, they're working on it. If you actually compare stats to previous pandemic, Spanish flu, they were far worse than
basically.
COVID. So again, I look at I'm not one-sided, but is the media blowing it out of proportion? It is a flu. I'm sure, it mostly affects older people with immune compromised systems. So I look at, every different aspect of it. But I mean, I think, flu aside, or what COVID is, it's the economic impact that's going to have the biggest impact on the,
sure.
we're a global market. We're so intertwined with other countries now as a global society that the economic impact is what's going to be the real fallout from it.
Absolutely. Just imagine, even if, let's say, Ukraine will solve the problem, 0 cases in all the cities of Ukraine, you cannot just trust someone coming from outside your boundaries, because who knows if someone in France, for example, is already sick, since the outcome of the illness will show up in 15 days. So it's a big problem. It's even a trust issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's global, and we'll see a lot of closed borders in the future. It will have a huge impact on how we travel, and this world tours, big European tours, I think they're kind of off the table for a year. And all these bands that plan to have big touring summer, I think it's not going to happen in 2020 or maybe even 2021. So I know that Ukraine closed borders, but we are kind of open in a welcoming sense countries where we have a lot of open borders with many countries, but we have Poland that closed their borders early on, and I think they have like a very right-leaning government. I think that this is an opportunity for them to have their borders closed for a longer time, like for next maybe election cycle. So a lot of governments that are leading to have closed borders, nationality, and so on. They will use it to have their borders closed. So it's going to be harder to travel, to tour, and to have like this worldwide sense of community.
Yeah, I'm with you on this.
It's the same here. The American border is closed to non-essential travel, so just trade only. So any Canadian bands that want to go tour down into the United States, or any United States bands that want to come to Canada, it's not happening.
No.
And probably the same thing with, Canadian American bands going over to Europe to tour. That's pretty much
for now
put on hold as well. Same thing Eugene said about the Ukraine.
Absolutely. Every domestic or international flights here are completely suspended until further information. Now, guys, I want to tell to our audience. I don't know how many people are like following this direct tonight. That this broadcasting will be available in the next days for sharing and for consideration from other people. And I'm warmly inviting every people watching this to drop their questions here in the comments, And I will bring your question to my guest after my next question, which is going to be probably the mothers of all the questions when it comes to local music, especially. Brien, I want to know. I'm quite curious to know what is the health of local music and what is the size of the audience of local events over there in your area, and what do you expect after this pandemic will be over? Do you think that local events will live a new life, like an explosion of audience, traffic, events, and all the good stuff, or not?
Right. So where I actually live is I live off the coast of British Columbia on Vancouver Island. Um, we have a very good local music scene. We have a pretty tight knit community. A long history of punk rock here, starting in obviously the late 70s to modern music, doom, stoner metal here on the island. So our music community is pretty tight knit on the island. There's only a couple cities. There's Victoria, British Columbia. There's also Nanaimo, which is farther up the island. So those are the two main hubs for local music here on the island. So if it does return back to normal, everybody gets together and everyone goes together to the shows, enjoys the music, and it's kind of a good family. Of course, on the mainland in Vancouver, British Columbia, I mean, it's a pretty tight-knit community there as well. So everyone will continue to support local music. That's what kind of drives the industry here. So I'm optimistic.
Okay, okay. Eugene, what about the same question over there in Ukraine? How's the local music health?
I think it's kind of mirroring the Canadian situation. Local bands they may not generate a lot of ticket sale. We have like 100, 150 gap for a local show. But I think after this all blows over, maybe we'll have a little bit of spike when the quarantine is officially over and everyone will go outside. But I think that this cautious state of mind of staying safe and trying not to get sick will still leave people in their homes. And so for the ways we can support the community is still we have internet, we have websites, we have live streams. Maybe this thing will be the next thing of like supporting local bands, because local music for in my understanding, it's not about the money, it's not about getting like big famous and so on. It's more about the connection, it's more about a sense of community and some attention to your art and how you express yourself. So if this lives on, it's not a matter of venue, show, or maybe some different way of interacting. So how it goes on, fall will tell, end of the year will tell. More impactful it will be for businesses, for small venues, for clubs. I think many of them will not reopen themselves because they can handle to pay rent for 2-3 months without generating any income. So I think we'll have more small show on more smaller venues, maybe in our rehearsal rooms, maybe in some other like more DIY venues, and we'll rebuild in a year or so.
Okay, okay, I see that. Guys, what I hope is that the lack of big events will drive people to smaller events. I don't know. I think that the scene over there in your countries is quite more healthier than what we have in Italy. And this is not a cover to talk, a topic to cover tonight, but I'm inviting you guys to another night of Music Never Stops to talk about local music and the problems of local music. And what I'm going to tell you about the Italian situation will basically shock you. And I promise this is not just a trailer to make you more interested. You will be shocked. I promise. Now, is there any question from the crowd? I cannot see any. It's fine. I'm thinking. I'm thinking of even This is something that is very meaningful to me. So basically, now we are living like a demonstration of what the world can be without live music. This is imagine it, picture that. It is like we cannot have any event. We have no live music, and we just have to rely on recorded music and music on the digital media.
Right.
So, guys, how is it? I mean, do you like this?
No, it sucks.
Yeah,
Sure.
I pretty much agree with you. So, what I'm keeping telling in every time I go live with my guess is to focus your attention. If you guys, everybody watching this show, everybody having a little bit of love for music in their hearts, if you don't support live music will die. And this is the demonstration of a world without live music. Am I right, Brien? What do you think about this?
You are absolutely 100% correct.
Thank you. Eugene, as the CEO of Louder.me promoting underground bands, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, live music is a vein of music itself because if you can't perform live, there's no music. Okay, you can record it, but for now you can't even record it properly. So you just stuck with old recordings, old music, nothing new coming on. You can discover new names. You can make friends attending live gigs. So I think it's just like black and white world for musicians. There's nothing here. So as I told earlier, we need to focus on creating something. Time will get better. World will get better, and this time in confinement, in quarantine, it's not to be wasted. We need to create some art from it. So after this is all over, we have a ton of music to record, to play live, to perform. So it's gonna be better, and we'll just remember this time by the art that we made.
Okay, guys,
Exactly. So
before letting you go and thanking you for showing up and having this good time chatting with us, there's a last question I want to ask you. It's pretty complex to explain, but I'd like you to explain to the audience how a underground band can make this way, its own way, their own way, to the higher level, to even more gigs, more fame in your countries. I mean, every country has a different scene for music. If you had to give suggestion to a band to become a big act or a bigger act than they already are in Canada and Ukraine, what would you suggest them, Brien?
well, again, because I do a radio show on Broken Neck Radio, I mean, you can send in your music to submissions at Broken Neck Radio, where we'll put it on one of our other DJs' radio program. Of course, I do the Stoner Doom Metal show. We've got the station owner that does just different stuff. We got a thrash metal guy. So, I mean, online radio stations have become a big thing. I try to promote the bands as much as I can within any kind of the music groups that I belong to, and supporting them, telling people, turning people on to them, contacting other bands all over the world. And if they're over, say, in Europe, and I know a band they're looking for a gig or something, I try to talk to the other bands and say, hey, this band from Canada is over in your country. Maybe you can contact them and help them out. So I think the digital age has been a big help in that aspect as well.
Cool. And Eugene, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think as Brien said, internet can be a blessing and a curse. You can focus only on internet promotion. It's a good thing if you have internet following, you have some connection over some platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or maybe some online radio stations, Spotify playlists. It's a cool thing to have a huge following there, but I think the best way to make new fans is to perform live. In Ukraine, I think in any country, perform live locally every time, every month. You have like 20 shows a year. It's a good thing to have some loyal and maybe not big but following in your country. And if you tour internationally, it's gonna become a huger crowd for you every time you go new country to play. So I think for smaller bands have to start right now in this like climate, in this situation, is to try to create the best music possible, to focus on your creativity, on your art, to try to be creative in ways you can deliver this music. This whole thing with confinement in the houses, it's a opportunity window for creation of something different from the times we had before all this. We have this Zoom chatting every day. We have this live conference, live stream gigs. It's a thing that it's very like on a tongue right now. It's in use right now to have a live gig. This moment will vanish pretty soon, because people will get exhausted with it. But now is the time to exploit it, to make some creative things out of it, to discover some ways to promote your music using this whole situation in a positive way, not like trying to make a metal COVID song, and it's silly.
I'm waiting for the band COVID-19 to start.
Yeah, I read like 2 days ago in one of the various Doom stoner groups on the internet that sooner or later we will have a Doom act called COVID-19. I'm quite sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah, we will be waiting about it. Guys, it's been so great to have you here. I'm here by question straight from a video party. Come on, drop it.
Ask us anything.
We have all the answers.
Well, we don't have all the answers at this point. We're just kind of hunkered down and living in a quarantine bliss in a way until it's going to get real even faster. It's going to be weird.
Absolutely.
It's a strange new world.
Look, I'm confined. I'm secluded in my house for 3 weeks? 3 weeks so far. I'm kind of getting crazy. I cannot watch myself in the mirror.
I mean, for me, I live in the country on a half an acre swamp. That's my backyard. So I'm kind of isolated anyways. They do call me Shrek, Eugene. Now that friend accepted my request, if you look at some of the pictures of my yard, most powerful new music projects that you've recently discovered.
Yeah, so basically it's a pretty personal it's a pretty personal question. Brien, I'm quite curious. What is the most powerful musical project you've seen lately?
Right now I've been really interested in a band from Norway called The Age of Indica.
Age of Indica. I will check it.
Yeah. Sounds stonerish.
It's very, very stonerish, Eugene. A lot of their songs don't have singing. It's more really kind of bluesy instrumental stuff. It's really good. So blast that across my yard all the time. My neighbors, I don't think, like me, but it's not my problem.
Like Scandinavian countries have
Yeah.
a good tradition with stoner music. Swedish is like exceptional.
Yes.
Eugene,
from
yours.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sharing
sorry. I'm
Zoom.
sorry. Brian, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
well, no, I
interrupting
was
you.
just gonna say that doing the radio show, I get tons and tons of music all the time. I get a lot of stuff that's not released as promo stuff. So I'm constantly adding to my musical library. I can't really say who I like the best because I get so much, and it's all so good.
Lucky you. Eugene.
Yeah, I'm sharing into our chat room the bands that I've just find out about today. It's called Psychonaut.
Yes,
It's
they're good.
yeah, slash post metal. I was sure that Brien heard of them. Just
I have
sure about
absolutely.
it. Yeah, it's amazing. Like post metal blend with progressive metal. Sounds like the Ocean, German bands like ISIS.
I know the Ocean. I know them.
They're great as
They're
well.
so good. They're so good.
It's funny, Eugene, because I was actually just listening to Psychonaut the other day.
Yeah, they have an amazing album just come out, so it's a great band.
Cool. Is there any other question from the crowd? Okay, we don't have other question.
They gotta
So
have
guys,
something.
another straight for how much watching stream video could involve the front end and possibly evaluate the quality of a project. Brien.
Can you put the question up there again? Can you? How much watching a live stream video could involve differently and possibly reevaluate the quality of a project?
This is a quite funny angle.
It's quite an involved question because watching a live stream video, it's completely different than, going to a live event. I'm not sure. Well, it could reevaluate the project, but I think it's more the musicians that are doing the project.
So, Eugene, your idea.
I think it's maybe for musicians, it's a way to get themselves better in performing, in playing their instruments, because performing live stream, it means it's going to be recorded. All your fuck ups and all your mistakes will be recorded forever, and people that are watching it, they're watching on a crappy speakers, on a crappy laptops and phones. So
that was kind of my point, Eugene.
Yeah, the quality of the music will not be the same as a live performance, because if you fuck up live, there's huge sounds. There's a lot of energy coming from stage, so all the fuck ups are go over your head. I remember 10 years ago, some of my favorite bands, I watched their bad live videos on YouTube. They sound just awful, and I'm like, okay, there's another band goes off my list. But then I see them live in a year or so, and there's just another experience. Or every mistake, every some misstep is just neglected, because they look amazing, they sound amazing, and in the whole, the sum is much bigger than parts.
Well, and also, making mistakes playing music shows that you're human. It happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? That,
of course.
And a lot of times, I see my friends' bands play and they're, I fucked that shit up. And I'm like, I didn't notice. Did anybody else? They're like, no. Right?
Yeah, it's like this most of the time, basically.
Right? We're not perfect. We're human.
No, absolutely. Except if you call John Petrucci. I'm sorry. Okay. Petrucci. The guitarist, from Dream Theater. Guys, I would like to stay here and talk with you forever, but we have talked for more than 1 hour now, and it's
I got all
also
day.
it's like I don't have to go anywhere. But basically, before bidding you goodbye, I want to ask you some personal question.
Uh-oh.
I want to know, like, pretty straight, the most awesome band that you ever heard in your life. I don't know, a new act that you would suggest, even if we talked about psychonauts or others. And yeah, I like this.
If you heard live or heard like just
Just
No,
been to
no,
like a concert or a show?
I mean, like, give us a couple of names that are very relevant for you and why and the reason behind that.
I think for me, probably when I was 14 years old in 1992, my my mom took me to Lollapalooza 92, and I got to see Ministry for the first time,
Wow.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ice Cube, Jesus and Mary Chain, and Lush. And I think for me, that kind of, set my musical tastes in kind of motion. And I mean, I've seen Ministry many, many times, and every time it's always a good show.
You were blessed. Tell me.
And then about a year and a half ago, my mom comes over, and my mom's a big supporter of me and what I do musically. And she says she has this T-shirt hanging in her closet for the last 20 years, and it's an original Lollapalooza 92 T-shirt. So, again, also 2 years ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing Max Cavalier, and they were doing Soulfly, but they were doing the whole Nail Bomb album.
Oh, insane.
Which, being able to meet, a rock legend and go on his tour bus and just kind of hang out with Max Cavalier, which is, the god of metal. And he's a real person, and he's very personable. And, of course I'm peeing my pants, but he's just to have a conversation with a guy that's been doing that for so many years. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
I see that, and I must say that I'm a pretty great fan of Chris Cornell. So I kind of envy you for having showed up in a Soundgarden concert. I wish I could. I wish I did that, but unfortunately, Eugene, what about you? Yeah.
I think that one that comes to my mind right off the bat is last year I saw Tool for the first time. It was pretty huge experience and very long awaited for. But the most impactful, I think, was I've caught the Dillinger Escape Plan on their last tour in 2017, I guess, and get to present and to give a gift of our Septa album to Ben Wyman from Dillinger Escape Plan. It was pretty sweet. And after that gig in Warsaw in Poland, they got into terrible bus crash, and it was like their last gig ever until the New York one, where they did three nights in a row. And pretty huge for us was when we performed with Stone Sour in Kiev.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of Stone Sour. It's an okay band. I like it, but I'm a bigger fan of Slipknot, of course. And to have a small conversation with Corey Taylor it's kind of huge. It's leave a mark. So, and I think the most impactful live show that I've saw in my life was in 2017 or 18, 2018. It was a Sam Smith concert. Just a guilty pleasure of mine.
Say it again, please. What is the name?
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith. Okay.
He's a British singer. Yeah.
Probably I never heard of that. My fault. Okay,
Hang
guys.
on one sec.
Yeah, sure. Starting from you, Eugene. This is the very last moment of this interview. I hope you will be our delightful guest another time, like 10, 15 days to like stay up on the state of the art of what is happening in Ukraine
Yeah, sure.
and just give us new information. And
Yeah, sure, man.
so probably we are going to schedule this because I really enjoyed this. So I want you and Brian to be here with us again, and you can say bye to the crowd, to our audience. Maybe tell us about your projects when all of this will be over, and just drop whatever you want. It's your time.
Yeah, we're at Louder.me. We planned a couple of things for musicians that are trapped in this situation right now. It's gonna be some sort of support system to make yourself more viable financially for the time being. We're gonna roll out, I think, in a month or so, and we'll have a presentation. I think it's gonna be a cool thing to present all our new projects in terms of Louder.me projects at your live talk. And I think it's unannounced, but we have a thing going on with Music Never Stops that we are planning. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be cool to announce it. I think in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So we it's like this is an opportunity for digital projects for streaming platforms. But we need to use it very carefully because time is right for new ideas, but again, they got to be sympathetic to situations. They got to be made in a proper way and not like exploit this whole thing, because a lot of musicians, a lot of music industry workers, it's their livelihood on stake. So we need to make it the right way.
And you absolutely know that whenever you want to come and play in our country, just bring a phone
Yeah,
and you will
sure.
be welcomed. And
Uh,
Brian, in your case, what
you
is
guys
going
can
to
always stay
happen
at
in your
my
yard?
house. What's that?
What is going to happen in your own yard, Brian? What are your projects for the next?
Well, last year, I mean, it's weird here. We have venues, but we don't really have a festival on the island. We have a country music fest, which you never find me there. But so I got together and I wanted to start something in my own yard. I have friends that have stages and PA systems and all that stuff, and basically start my own music fest in my yard called Sludge on the Swamp. We promote it as a
Amazing.
family event. Kids 16 and under are free. This year we're doing a gigantic pig roast where you get fed, you get the music, you get the whole experience. And because we don't have any real sort of stoner doom metal kind of metal fest here, a lot of people don't go out to shows because they can't take their kids and they got to find a babysitter. So I just thought to myself, well, you know what? I got enough room to have a good party here for about 400 people. So let's do it. And we're up and running. This is our second year. We got 8 bands coming. So I just want to make it grow bigger and get better bands here every year. And it's a personal experience for people and families. So that, at least the parents can introduce their kids to their, punk rock that they've been listening to since they were kids.
This is
Of
awesome,
course,
man. I beg you to set up a streaming event so I can connect and
I
watch
think,
it.
yeah, this year we're going to do a live stream for the event.
That's fantastic.
I've also got, of course, I got security cameras on my house, so I can take footage from that as well and broadcast that too. We're going to have some people walking around with GoPros doing filming.
Correct.
And of course, getting involved with Music Never Stops. I mean, I'm always trying to get more involved with the music industry. And of course, what I do here at Broken Neck Radio with my own radio show. And relentless spam posting of that I'm going to play all these bands online all the time, but I get positive feedback. That's how I found you guys in Italy. And I just kind of use, a simple, hey, I do this radio show. Would you like to send some music to me? And if you would, great, cool. And, I do buy a lot of music as well to support the artists and merchandise and all the other stuff. So that's what I personally do. And Sludge on the Swamp is just going to get better and better every year. Maybe one day you guys
amazing name for the festival.
Isn't that?
Well, and I mean, Eugene, I'm sure if you go through my pictures, you'll see my backyard. I live on the side of a lake, but my whole yard floods in the wintertime. And at the back of my property is a 40-acre swamp. It's a bird estuary. So Sludge on the Swamp.
That's it. Guys,
simple.
It's been absolutely great to be here with you. This was a very nice event. When you were gone a moment ago, Brien, I told Eugene that I wish that you guys can come back in 15 days just to get an update of what is happening across the world from Canada to Ukraine. And because this is meant for the family of music lovers around the world. And I think that you guys are like in this family like brothers to us. So,
absolutely.
So for now, I thank you so much for being here with us. Again, Eugene Tymchyk, CEO at Louder.me, and frontman of The Nietzsche and Septa, two awesome Ukrainian bands that I want you to go and check out. And B.Montgomery, the PR and face in front of Broken Neck Radio. If you have awesome tunes, just send them to him and he will make you famous.
Eugene, you're going to have to send me your music now.
Yeah, I will do it for sure.
But he's awesome. I saw him live with another band called Between Two Oceans. He was a guest star there that day, and it was an awesome show. It was a very nice day.
Yeah, the other thing, I mean, if any of you guys ever make it over to Canada or Western Canada, I know, lots of music promoters to get you guys shows, play with other local bands. And I mean, my house is always open for a place to stay too.
Thank you so much. It means a lot for us.
We can just hang out and get stoned.
Absolutely. Isn't that the main point of everything?
My favorite pastime.
Guys, it's been great. Much
awesome.
Love from Italy, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good, man.
Cool, man.
Bye,
good
guys. Have a good time.
Amazing.
Again.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm out. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey, man.
I'm back. I'm back from the backyard. I'm not Bugs Bunny, but I want to say that's all, folks. I don't have a carrot with me, but I have a beer. It's much better than a carrot. Okay.
My glass is empty now.
Your glass is always empty.
Fuck. We are for all the guys watching us in this moment. You probably don't know us, and it's completely normal. But this guy here, is my singer, and I am his guitarist in a band. And we have a motto in this very time, which is called "The liver never stops." So even if distant, we are taking our time to be together on video and enjoying a good glass. So everything is good, and everything is gone for now. I again want to invite you guys to share this video all over your contacts, because we have shared meaningful information tonight. I beg you to follow and like the page Music Never Stops on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. I guess do we have Twitter? I don't know, not yet. But
Instagram.
We have Instagram, right? So, guys, just be connected with us, because we are bringing you more content like this live talk, like the live gig that we had last Monday night with Fly Notes. And everything is being set up, so you are going to see a lot of stuff going on. And in the very least, third point on my list is remember that the times you're living now are just a demonstration, like a demo 0.1 of a world without live music at every
Yeah.
level, from local to international. Guys, if you stop, the music stops. Learn this. If you don't stop, music will never stop.
Music never stops. That's all, guys.
That's all. Guys, bid you good night from El Rojo, from Music Never Stops. I will see you again. And for now, be with music.
Good night from Italy. Cheers.